Hi, I'm Peter P.T. Townend. Not only am I the first world surfing champ, but I love this sport right here in Huntington Beach. We're going to celebrate the sport, its culture, lifestyle, and the amazing surfers that came before and after me that hit the waves around the world, including here in Surf City. We're going to share the PT collection with you on Surf Scene.
Hi, it's PT with Surf Scene tonight. We've got a great show for you. We're here at the Huntington Beach International Surfing Museum for the 40th anniversary of the OP Pro. Going to run into all sorts of people. The founders of OP, Jenks and Don Hansen, and the executive director that talked OP into running the contest, Ian Cairnes. So let's walk on inside. I got one of the legends of OP right here, Don Hansen. And Don, you were telling me in the parking lot that you won the tandem contest here. And what year would that be? Like
1967, I believe.
67? And you said you haven't been back here since?
Well, I haven't been to this part of Huntington Beach. I've come up 101 once in a while, but I don't very often go north of Oceanside.
So let's talk a little bit about OP. You were telling me you got it from some guys from Encinitas. The name, you bought the surfboard company.
Well, I bought it was Jim Jenks' idea to start the company. And he worked for me at the time. And so somewhere along the way we had to get a name, and I can remember John Smith walked up to me one day, and I knew he owned Ocean Pacific, and he said, "Hansen, why don't you guys buy my name from me?" He was going under anyway, I believe. And so I said, "How much do you want?" He said, $1,500.
$1,500.
Yeah. And I thought that was a pretty cheap price, because I like the name OP too. And then I thought I had turned the name over to OP, over to the Jenks and Butler and Mr. Driver, the other guy who was the real money behind the whole thing. And I still own the name OP.
That's crazy. Yeah. Did you ever think that it would explode like it did? Like, I mean, when Jim started the Sunwear part, you know, by the 80s, it was the biggest surf brand in America.
It was, but it still came behind Hansen. They were the original big name.
And we have this stuff behind us here. Of course, how many of us wore that short?
Everybody in the world wore those.
The cargos, the corduroy cargo, right?
We're even selling them now.
Still selling them, right? Yeah. So this is a young Don right here.
That's
at the first retail store, right?
That picture was just taken recently.
Yeah, right. There's good Photoshop then, right? We'll be back with someone else in a little while. Jim Jenks, I hope he's supposedly on the way.
Makes me mad, makes me try. She don't cheat, makes me cry. She needs attention, she needs to be pleased. She needs a man's touch, why don't she need me?
Well, I ran into this guy here, a long time friend of mine, Ian Cairnes, but to me, he's Big Wally. He's been Big Wally all his life to me, and this whole thing we're doing here tonight wouldn't have happened without him, because he's the one that talked OP into funding the very first world-class championship tour event in California. Wally, how did you talk him into it?
Well, we've been doing those small contests, and we had some competitive experience, and we needed a job, right?
Sports and Media Services, remember?
We had a little bit of a relationship with OP, so I went and saw Mike Parnell, and I had a budget, and I had a story, I had the name, and it just sort of my idea with the right timing for them, and it all came together, and we had no idea how big it would become. We thought it would be a pretty important surf contest, but it was enormous.
Well, it became the contest to win.
Yes. And to me, it's actually really, really important because the original concept was to bring the surfers to the people. And so all the surfers in the world came and they were stoked. And the California audience just loved interacting with all of the surfers. And to see that the events in Huntington Beach lose that kind of luster and credibility, I think it's stupid on behalf of the surfers, actually, because
we still should be having as a world-class event.
Should be having a world-class world championship event at Huntington Beach
for the legacy.
Well, for the legacy of surfing, but also because these guys sponsors their biggest business is here in America.
Absolutely.
And they have an obligation, I feel, as the surfers sponsored by the large companies, to talk to their people, the fans.
Well,
and that's what this event in the US Open is.
Well, especially when you have what I call the Times Square of surfing with Huntington Surf and Sport and Jenks on the corner there. There's more retail done right there than anywhere in the world.
Yeah, and so I've always felt, and it's based on the event that we had at Umhlanga. Right. We're amongst the people in South Africa, and I thought, wow, wouldn't it be cool to have an event in America where you could be with the fans? And so we had Mr. T on the beach, neck deep in the water, bringing Tommy Curran out of the water, fans all around. And it was just really an amazing event. And I think the people in California, there was so much stoke for surfing, and the OP Pro dished it up.
Well, in those days too, as event director, you were allowed to bring in a few of your own rules, and we created the priority rule, if you remember, and instant scoring, Meg running up and down the stairs for the commentators, and that had never happened before.
Neither of those things had happened. Of course, we stole the priority rule off Peter Drone, but he hadn't put it in action. It was a concept. We made it happen. Had the buoy and the paddle battles. It was just really exciting. It added a whole new flavor. But the instant scoring, well, it was just pieces of paper and the scores coming down. And for the first time ever, you could tell the surfers in the water who was winning the heat. It was really kind of revolutionary, and that morphed into the computer scoring system with George Stokes,
right,
also a Huntington Beach guy. And, so this event, the OP Pro, was really an innovation machine for the world of surfing.
Right, and the audience for the first time had an idea who won before, you had to sit around and wait for it to be tallied up, right? Yes. And now you knew.
Well, what did that lead to? It led to when you know who's winning and you see the wave coming, and the crowd is on their feet cheering because they know that wave is going to be the decider. Whoever gets that wave and does the big maneuver is going to win the event. And of course, we got the scores back to them really quickly, and so it created so much more crowd involvement. And then, of course, from a television standpoint, it was really cool. But,
and Shane Horan winning the first one was huge over Sean Thompson. I mean, you couldn't have had a better dream final from point of view. The guy that's trying to win a world title and one that was the world champ.
Yeah. And the thing when Shane went up off the lip and did that 360 degree off the lip and landed it, the crowd went bananas because they knew that was the wave, that was the maneuver that would win.
Right.
She don't think, she don't drink, she don't cheat. She just flirt, she just fly, she just waits, she won't crash.
Shane Horan, a very precise surfer with equipment that others find hard to adapt. His equipment might just have cost him the #1 spot on the circuit in the past, but it sure didn't stop him this day. Shane walked away with first place.
Anyway, Big Wall, it's so great that you turn up here tonight in Huntington Beach for this. I'm sure you feel proud of what's going on in this room because it wouldn't have happened without you, mate.
Yeah, well, we've both been around surfing in many different ways for 50, 60 years. And it's really satisfying to look back and just go, oh, wow, we had a hand in contributing to the growth of surfing.
Right.
And there's a lot of satisfaction.
Well, I'm stoked you're here, mate. And I wonder who I'll run into next here at the Huntington Beach Museum tonight for the OP Pro 40th. I think I got to find Jim Jenks somewhere.
Not Mike.
Oh, we just got to let the crowd speak for itself. What a knowledgeable crowd here at Huntington Beach. A back-to-back wave exchange that I'm not sure I've ever seen here at the OP Championships, but I can't wait for the judges' scores to see how that one ended up.
Well, we'll wait for the computer scores to come in, but we're really going to want to take a look at that. I'd say that was one of the best exchanges, wave for wave, as you said, we've ever seen at the OP Pro Surfing Championship.
Richie Collins backside. It is all weight transfer. Watch how he leans the weight, then releases it, and where'd he go? Oh, there he is. He pops out of the white water like a cork. Tommy Curran going the other way. Watch him as he slips under the soup of the white water, and boom, patented Tom Curran.
Well, I told you I'd run into Jim Jenks, and here he is. I heard you were downtown having a taco.
We were right around the corner having tacos. We had to eat before we came over here. God, it's great to see this. See everybody here. Oh, man, it's taken me back 20 years, 30 years. This is wonderful.
Well, mate, can you believe it? It was like 50 years when you started the brand.
Yeah.
And then 40 years since Ian Cairnes talked to you and Mike Parnell into starting the OP Pro.
I know. And Ian came in and he says, you know, you guys, you're doing a lot in surfing and things are happening. Maybe we ought to have a tournament, you know? Yeah, where? Well, maybe Huntington Beach, you know? Well, where? You know? The pier.
And can you believe the first one? The crowds that we got.
Oh my God, the crowds we had. There were so many people. We had to bring our own police in,
right,
you know, to keep it together.
Right.
It was unbelievable.
And the event had an incredible 10-year run.
Yeah, it was so good. It was. We look forward to it. We love being involved with it. We liked everything it did. Everybody was everybody's friend in those days. Everybody was easygoing. It was just great.
So we go back to the beginning now. So you're working for Don Hansen, right?
Oh, the very beginning. Very beginning. Yeah. Yeah. I used to work at a tire and brake shop when I got out of high school, you know.
Right, and so you ended up behind the counter, though, at Hansen, right?
Yeah, that's right. Don gave me a chance, let me come to work over there, and Don wanted to do a lot of things and travel and expand the brand, and so he gave me a shot at helping him run the business and doing it, and
then you started OP Sunwear.
Yeah, somebody had to make a better pair of trunks.
Someone had to beat out Duke Boyd at Hang 10, right?
Somebody had to do it. Yeah, yeah.
So behind you, you can see you got pictures of yourself on the wall here.
I know. It does.
But every one of us wore that short, right?
That's right. That's right. We all did. You know, and we always stayed with corduroy because corduroy always felt good when you got out of the water and dropped those trunks, man. Put those cord shorts on. They work great. You know.
So are you proud of the legacy of those years? I mean, you became, in the 80s, the biggest brand in the surf market.
Yeah, yes, I'm proud of what we did, and I'm really proud of what we were able to put back into surfing and keep surfing really going as a lifestyle. And it was good to see all the music that came out of it and the movies that came out of it and everybody living and plus that kind of a lifestyle.
Plus a lot of good-looking girls in the Miss OP contest.
I've heard that.
Well, it's so good to have you here tonight in Huntington Beach, Jim.
Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me in. And God, there's so many welcome faces here.
Well,
it's so good to see Don again. It's really
well, I'll let you work the room. You're going to probably run into David Nueva. I see him over there on the wall.
Tommy Curran, sure to set him on fire. OP really had it together with this one, even with bodyguards for the surfers. Sean Thompson took second place on the twin fin, was always mobbed by fans, always right there in the public's eye. This is California.
There's more of that great stuff to come, but I'm going surfing right now. There's waves out here.